guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week, and this is the show where I review all the comics I've read this week in one show. We go least favorite to best pick of the week, and at the end of the video, we talk about the viewer's pick of the week, so in the comments below, let me know what your pick of the week is. I also have a Kickstarter going on for my comic book, Hairology, actually has Gail Simone doing a forward, and also Sterling Gates has a story of his own in there as well, so hopefully you guys could go check it out. There's only one more week, and we are so close to funding. Now, let's jump into this week's comics. Kind of a smaller haul for me, only 9 books for my haul here. And number 9 is Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And this is a tie-in to the movie, and many of the actors actually wrote stories for this anthology, and it's kind of a filler for if you are a comic fan already. If you're looking for more Shazam stories, I don't know if this is really giving you that. A lot of it has to do more with the Shazam family than even Billy Batson himself, but if you've never read a comic before and you really, really like these actors, then go check it out. I do think it was released maybe a little bit too early. Maybe I would have felt a little bit more after I had watched the movie. So that was another part that I didn't love about the book, but I do think it's skippable for most comic fans, especially at that $10 price point. So that is number 9 for me. Moving on to number 8, I did get this on whim because of how small the week was, and that is Hallow's Eve issue 1. And the reason I say I got this on whim, I was actually really looking forward to it before I knew who Hallow's Eve was. I didn't really love how Dark Web continued as an event, and obviously knowing that Dark Web was going to be very connected to this series, I just wasn't too excited. And honestly, that's kind of what happened here. If you love Dark Web, if you really like Ben Reilly's story, you will continue to enjoy this. We get a little bit more from Ben Reilly's girlfriend and Hallow's Eve as a character. But I don't think this convinces you to become a Hallow's Eve fan, which is kind of what I wanted with this one. It follows the beats a lot of Dark Web, and I just don't know if it really made the character herself stand out. We got some of her powers here, we got some of the face masks, but I didn't really get a lot from the actual character herself, and I thought the artwork was just okay for this one as well. So overall, giving that 2 stars, and that is number 8. Moving on to number 7, which is Stargirl issue 4. I like Stargirl a lot. I've enjoyed Red Arrow, and I mean Stargirl as a character. But this arc, I feel like, has lost steam since they've gotten on the island, since they've gone to the main point of the series. If you're a big fan of Jeff Johns' Justice Society of America, not the current one, the past ones, I think you'll enjoy it. There's some interesting references from that, and interesting references about generations and legacy. But if you're looking more for a Stargirl driven story, I think she really takes a back seat in this portion of the story. I wanted her more. I want her adventures more. The artwork's pretty good. I like the cliffhanger. We get to see Hourman in the end, and it looks like it's a future generation character of him. So that was cool, but I'm just not loving the main plot for this one. So overall, giving that 2.5 stars, and that is number 7. Moving on to number 6, which is the title of this video, Batman vs. Robin issue 5. So there's some interesting battles here. If you are looking for an actual versus match of the Bat family versus Batman in general, you get that here. He's evil, in this portion of the chapter. We get to see the Bat family really take charge, try to put him down, and then Robin's like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to save my father without him actually dying. And he does die for like a second type situation, or he's unconscious for a second. They try killing him, and then in the end, of course, Robin saves him, because we're not going to actually have Batman die. And that's the story. That's what happens here. And I thought it was fine. Again, I like some of the fight battles. I really like the middle of this book. I enjoyed seeing just seeing the Bat family. I thought was cool, and just seeing their different fighting styles. But the beginning was really drawn out, and then the end, I don't really think did anything, especially because it was connected to such a big event like Lazarus Planet. I just feel like they're really buying time for this Dawn of DC, and these events weren't necessary, and honestly didn't even tie in enough to the previous Robin series that I think did a really good job of developing Damian's character. And the artwork I thought was okay for the series. Again, nothing that really stands out. So giving that one 2.5 stars, actually 3 stars, and that is number 6. Moving on to number 5, a book that I thought was, I think, stronger than the previous volume, and that's Spider-Gwen, Shadow Clone. I was a little worried about this one. I thought there was a lot of generic beats in this where it's just like, all right, Spider-Gwen's looking for a date. She's obviously late for work. She has some fighting with MJ, kind of, I'll say at least tension with MJ, and she's trying to balance being a hero. And then you have this Doc Spider-Gwen character that shows up, and I'm like, man, we just did this. We saw all the other versions of Spider-Gwen. Do we need to see this again? And the twist was she's a clone, and it's because of this character whose partner died because of Spider-Gwen. I'm like, okay, at least there's some differences here to kind of drive the plot. The clone thing could be interesting with Gwen. So I want to give it a shot. I don't think it blew my mind, but I'm like, all right, it could kind of be a little different. I've said this in previous videos. I don't love the direction of the Spider-Gwens and the Miss Marvels where you're just getting miniseries that kind of just feel fillerish to the character and not actually developing the character. And that's still kind of a worry I have with this one. That's just kind of this one-off story just to have a miniseries because the character is popular and has a movie coming out. So overall, giving that 3 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is Radiant Black issue 22. This is definitely a point A to point B issue as we gear into this big event for Radiant Black against the big robot and the mythology of Radiant Black. But this one, if you like Nathan and his personal story, we get a little bit more of that. He goes to LA, doesn't even try to sell his story, but he's trying to get one of his former friends not to use his story and to use him in Hollywood. That way this guy makes a ton of money and he doesn't, even though he can make a little money off of it. And that's kind of the story. It's like, okay, what direction is he taking his writing career? What direction is he taking his Hollywood career? And it's obviously very much, you could tell, a reflection of, I'm sure, something that Kyle has dealt with as a writer. You could just tell it's a very more commentary about the industry of writing, the industry of Hollywood, which I thought was interesting. But if you're looking more for the Radiant Black stuff, I don't really think it's in this issue as much. I think they could have done a better job of balancing that. But overall, interested to see how this will take part in the future issues, especially as Nathan has to decide, am I staying home or am I going to LA? And what is home? Where he kind of does answer that question, that he feels like where he lives now is more home than LA, which I thought was interesting. There was also a different artist in this, so that was a little jarring. Obviously, they try to fit the style of what's been Radiant Black in the past, but I thought the coloring was really bright for this one, and I just thought it was a little off the artwork because it was 2 different artists. So giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 4. Moving on to number 3, which is a new Jeff Lemire book, Phantom Road, issue 1. I didn't really know anything going into this, and I still don't feel like I know too much going out of it, but I really love the visuals. It's a very cinematic book about this guy who didn't have the greatest childhood, maybe is becoming his father, and finds this girl on the road. There's also this other thing on the road that transfers them into another dimension with these creatures, and they end up killing these creatures. So it's very almost Mad Max Fury Road-esque storyline where it's not really focusing too much on like this is these character struggles. It's really more about the visuals and how that's gonna drive the character, which I'm interested in. I don't know if it completely hooked me and say I need issue 2, but visually, again, it just felt so cinematic and kind of sucks you in that way that I do want to at least give issue 2 a try. So giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, which is Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, issue 10. I thought this was a really unique way to do MODOK's character. I've never been a fan of MODOK. I know they're probably utilizing him because he had a big part in Ant-Man. And I liked how we got to see inside the characters of Captain America's team. Characters I didn't even really know much about. There's this queer character here that I'm guessing is a big Captain America character that, again, I just didn't really know who he was. I'm trying to find his name. He ends up dying in the end, too. And I'm like, oh, man, that's probably pretty big for Captain America fans. And, I like getting into the headspace. I like seeing these worlds and realities kind of morph within the MODOK fight. And the artwork was really good. I thought the pacing was well done. Again, the ending felt like it had some stakes here. So overall, I thought it was a pretty well done issue. And I think Captain America fans will love this. And as someone who's just gotten into Captain America, I enjoyed it. So giving that 3.5 stars, and that is number 2. Moving on to number 1 is a new Mad Cave book, Hunt, Kill, Repeat, issue 1. The premise sucked me into this one. Artemis, the Greek god Artemis, leaves her family, wants to start her own family with a human, is pregnant and ends up her father kills her husband, and she thinks her unborn child is dead as well, but Zeus has actually been training him to just not be part of humanity. And I thought it was pretty interesting. There was moments I didn't expect, because again, I didn't know much about the title, but I didn't expect the husband to die. I didn't know what this journey was going to be, and I enjoyed the main character. I think it did a good job of introducing the world, introducing these characters we kind of already know because of Greek mythology, and making it more human, and just, you know, making it very punchy too. Like, I think Artemis is a really cool action character. I liked her grit in this one, her passion to try to get her revenge, honestly. And I thought the artwork fit pretty well for this as well. The coloring might have been a little bit too bright at points, and I do think 50 pages might have been a little bit too long for this one. I think the tighter narrative would have helped it, but I enjoyed it. It gave me enough to want to read issue 2 and curious to see where it goes. And definitely, again, a lot of gut punches throughout the first issue, which I think you really need for a series like this. So overall, giving that 3.5 stars, that's my pick of the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what your pick of the week was. And last week, the viewer's pick of the week was She-Hulk. And here are some comments about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.